Okay, we are on lesson 6 of Algebra 1. We're talking about algebraic addition and subtraction, specifically negative numbers, and they want you to understand this concept here, okay? So when we have something like -5 here at the beginning, what they want you to do is kind of think of it as a parenthesis. Okay, so we're going to have a -5 in this parentheses. And if you see this, what they want you to do is pretend that you're adding all of these things together. And what you're adding is a -2 to it. Okay, so they're giving this sign here and they're saying, okay, well, we've got it. We're adding a -5 and we're adding a -2 together. Okay, you could put a plus sign here if you wanted to, although that's redundant. That's not necessary. Okay, so down here, it would be like saying, oh, well, we have a +5 plus +5. I'm sorry, +2. So +5 plus +2. Okay, down here, they're saying, okay, well, we have a -5. Remember, we're adding a -5, and we're going to add that to a +2. Okay, lots of signs written down here. Okay, and then this one down here would be saying like, okay, well, I have a +5, and I'm going to add that to a -2. Okay, so basically they take this number, whatever the sign is, they put it in parentheses. Okay, so this is a +5, they're going to put that in parentheses. This is a -2, so a -2, they're going to put that parentheses. Then we're going to add the numbers together. Here we've got a -5, so that's a -5 in the parentheses, and we're going to add that to whatever this other number is, which is a +2. So the same thing happens all the way throughout here. Okay? So this, they don't often write things like this because it's confusing. You've got signs all over the place and it gets to be too much. So a lot of times you'll see it simplified like this, but this is what they want you to understand it to mean. So I'm going to get rid of these here so it's even less confusing, okay? So all of these equal the same thing. It's very important that you understand this concept of adding them all together, okay? Because we're going to come over here to adding and subtracting negatives. Now this is very, very important. You should write it somewhere. You should memorize it. You should keep it handy. This is the rule for adding and subtracting negatives. Okay, the very beginning in the pink. If the sign is the same, so if they're both negatives, they're both positives, then you can add the numbers together and then you keep the sign. Here we have a -3 minus 5 is a -8. Both of those signs are negative. You add them together. 3 plus 5 is 8, but they're negatives. Okay? Here we've got a +3 and a +5. 3 plus 5 is 8. They're both positive. That's why you keep the 8. Here I've got it written the fancy way over here. We've got a +6 plus a +7. They are both positive. So 6 plus 7 is 13, and the answer is positive, which I'm not going to write down because that's extra. Okay, so now you've got a -7 and -6 and a -7, and you're adding them together. They are both negative, so you add the numbers together. You add 6 plus 7, which is 13, and you keep the sign. The sign is negative, so the sign stays negative, and it's -13. Okay, if the signs are different, you subtract, and you keep the sign of the greatest number. Here we have our +3 plus a -5. This is a positive, that's a negative. They are different signs. So we subtract. We say 5 minus 3 is 2, okay? The biggest number that we have is 5, and the 5 is negative, so we keep the negative sign. See, you keep the sign of the greatest number. Here, the greatest number is 5. The sign is positive, so our answer should be positive. Again, you still subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2, but now it's a +2 because 5 is our bigger number. here are these numbers or these questions written in the simplified way where I just say 3 minus 5, it equals -2. And instead of writing -3 plus +5, I just wrote -3 plus 5. You also get to here. So again, this is so important. This is where a lot of people will get tripped up on adding and subtracting negatives. If you just slow down and think about it a little bit, it will make sense to you. But keep this handy, write it on your forehead, I don't know, tattoo it, whatever you got to do to help you remember this. It will be very beneficial. Okay, so here is an example of one of the questions that you will come across in your homework. This is an extended version. Sometimes you might just get like the -3 plus +2, but this one's a little bit longer. When you do this, just start from left to right, okay? So we have -3 plus +2. Signs are different. I'm going to subtract them. 3 minus 2 is 1. The 3 is the biggest number, so I now have -1. So now I have a -1 plus a -2. My signs are the same, negative and negative. So I add those numbers together and I use the sign. So 2 plus 1 is 3. The sign is negative. So now I have a -3 plus an absolute value of -2. Well, the absolute value of -2 is 2. So these two became this. And these two are going to become this, okay? So -3 plus 2. Different signs. So you subtract 3 minus 2, and then you use the sign of the bigger number, which is a negative. So the answer would be -1. So the answer to this big, long line of numbers added together is just -1. All right, last example from lesson 6, this big long honker of a question here, okay? So I'm just gonna go from left to right again, 7 minus 3. So if I think about it, this is like saying 7 plus a -3. So the signs are different. So I subtract, okay? 7 minus 3 is 4, and 7 is the positive number, so it's +4. 4 plus 2 is next. This becomes 6, both positive, add them together. Then we've got 6 minus 11. Okay, different signs. This is a positive, this is a negative, so we subtract the numbers. 11 minus 6 is 5. The biggest number is 11, and it's a negative, okay? Now we've got -5, and we've got this +4 here, okay? These are different signs. 5 minus 4 is 1. 5 is my bigger number. It's a negative. Okay, last one here. We've got -1 and we've got +3. These are different signs. So we take 3 minus 1 and we get +2 because 3 is the bigger number. So that big line of numbers there added together equals 2.